Hi there, it's Ed Moses. Welcome back to Project Mindset. Today I want to share a book with you I just read. So this was another opportunity for me to give you a book review. I just finished a book by Gregg Braden, another book by him. I like his books, by the way. This one is called The Divine Matrix. The Divine Matrix. Now, if you know Gregg Braden at all, he is more of a scientific type of a writer. And this particular book it's not real deep scientific, but you could see where he shares more of a scientific view on his views with this. And simply put, the Divine Matrix is really a more scientific name for the law of attraction. Now, if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks and you've read any of those books or seen any of the videos, you'll realize Abraham Hicks talks a lot about the law of attraction, how things attract through, like you've got your grid and then you've got your vortex and all that stuff. Well, really, what the Divine Matrix is, to simply put, the Divine Matrix is our reality, what we see. Okay, it's what's around us, what we've created. To take it up another level, we really do operate a lot like a computer, as he would tell us, because we have an operating system. Our operating system is really, the emotions that we use to put out into the world. And just, if you understand the law of attraction, you'll realize that your emotions are actually what is attracting to you what you're putting out. In other words, if you're having a bad day and you're putting that emotion out, what you're doing basically is attracting more of that same type of feeling to you, things that are going to keep making you mad or upset. And that's really what this is about. He goes into some really interesting experiments in this particular book, and one of them, it has to do with praying peace. If you understand what I mean, like, let's say you've got an area that's in a lot of conflict, they're having a lot of issues, and what he did was he told about an experiment that was done where they took a group of people and they were all prescribed the same time of the day to pray peace. And if you know what I mean by pray, when I say pray, I'm not talking about praying where you say, oh, I hope this happens, someday in the future. To pray peace, you actually are praying that it's already happened, that peace is already there, it exists. And that's simply what put short, this is really what that means. So in order to pray peace, you must pray that moment for it has already happened. And that's really how this works. But anyway, what he showed was this. Now, if you take the population of a given area, take the square root in times 1%, you actually get the amount of people that you need to do the experiment and show a successful and actually make a difference. And I forget, I'd have to dig through the book, the exact numbers that he came up with. But another example he did that I thought was really interesting, showing and actually proving where he actually went over that particular equation, used more people than was needed. There was a woman that had cancer. And I forget where it was exactly. It wasn't stomach or anything like, but it was somewhere in her body here. And what had happened was it was considered inoperable. So the doctors in this country said, the Western medicine, we can't help you. You're gonna, it's inoperable. So this woman went to a hospital in China where they don't use medicine. It's a medicine-free facility, and they brought her in, and she went through I don't know what you'd call it, because it wasn't an operation, it was a procedure. We'll call it a procedure, where she laid on this table. She was awake, wasn't under the influence of any medicine, and these three doctors came into the room. Well, at the same time, they had her under a scope so that you could see on a like a computer monitor the actual cancer. You could see it in her body, so that it was right there on the screen. You could watch it, you could see it. So what had happened was these three doctors started to chant, they started to chant, and the words were something about, they were it was in Chinese, so, but the words were something about along the lines of the cancer is gone, the cancer is gone, the woman's healthy, whatever, something along those lines, that she's already healthy, it's already healed, it's gone, whatever. And so anyway, these doctors kept chanting that, and I guess what he showed in this particular procedure, that within a 2-minute period of time, the monitor showed the cancer just going away. It was gone. So in this case, you know how I said population, now you only had one person that had the cancer, right? And they used 3 people to get rid of the cancer by praying it away that way. And so what he showed was they were above the actual amount of the population that was needed to cure the thing. And it actually made the cancer go away. And what they do, I guess afterwards, they tell people, they give them a certain diet, this is the type of food you need to eat, and this is what you need to stay away from, so you could stay healthy and keep that cancer from coming back. Pretty amazing how that works. But basically all this in a nutshell, what this really shows is that our world is nothing more than, it's a holographic world that is basically quantum. It's basically quantum. And what I mean by holographic is this. Here's another test that he did, or he didn't do, but a test that was done by the Army, where they took a patient, wasn't really a patient, but this man, they took him in and they took some of his DNA from him. They put the DNA in another room. And what they did to this man was test his emotions by showing him different types of pictures that would spur different emotions in this man. And basically what had happened was, on the actual DNA that was removed from his body, what they showed was it was reacting to the stimuli that the man was going through. It was reacting to his emotions. Even though the DNA was no longer in his body, the DNA was still acting upon his emotions. Then one of the guys testing, one of the scientists said, well, he wanted to take it a little bit further. So, the Army didn't go this far. So what he did on his own, he went and he took this DNA 1,000 miles from this man. So now what had happened was they went through the same procedure and tested through the similar stimuli, and what had happened was this man was, through the stimuli, the DNA was still reacting from this man's emotions thousands of miles away. And what it really proved was there is no distance in the quantum world. There is no distance. Everything is still connected. Even if you don't see it as connected any longer, it is still connected. It still is one. So, I mean, it's just an amazing experiment that he showed. And I mean, it's things that nobody really talks about, this kind of stuff. That's why I like to read these types of books. There were so many good things in this book. It just blew me away. I mean, I could talk for hours on this. So, but what I'm going to tell you is this: after reading this book, I definitely like it. I definitely think it's a good book, and I definitely would recommend it to other people that are interested in this type of a subject to read it, because what it really does, like I said, if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks and how Abraham Hicks explains the law of attraction, then you'll enjoy this, because this gives you a human perspective of the law of attraction, a more human deal of it, and in a scientific way that shows, that experiments have been done that show or actually prove the point that Abraham Hicks is saying or telling us about. And I think that's amazing, because a lot of people would watch something like Abraham Hicks, the videos and stuff like that, say, this is crazy, this isn't real. But then you get somebody like this that's actually gone out and done the homework. He didn't call this the law of attraction. He didn't even explain it as that. But after reading the book, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what he's explaining. in it's what's crazy is everybody reflects upon it as more like a law of attraction. They see money in their heads, but that's really not the big picture. Money is one possibility from the law of attraction, but there's also all these other possibilities, because you're also attracting things you don't want if you're giving out that emotion. You're attracting things you do want if you're giving out that emotion. And it's all about that vibration that you're actually creating within yourself through that emotion and sending through the quantum field. And that somehow it's like it magnetically attracts to you exactly what you put out. And that's why a lot of people, miserable people, stay miserable, because that's what they keep putting out there. They keep putting out things to be miserable about, and that's what they attract to themselves. So it just gives you something more to think about on a more humanistic, scientific level. That really, to me, it really it puts a lot of sense into it. So anyway, when I created Project Mindset, the whole idea was to find a better way of doing things. And by understanding the divine matrix and how Gregg Braden explains in this book, it really puts things into perspective for me. And yes, it is a better way of doing things. It is a better way of doing things when you can understand that your world is based upon the emotions that you draw to yourself through that law of attraction. It's a better way because you now have an understanding that you can control your emotions. If you can control your emotions, learn to control your emotions, you can attract to you exactly what it is that you need and want in your life. And that's a better way, my friends. And how you use Project Mindset is really up to you, but I could tell you one thing: it's a better way. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this one. Bye now.